Hey everyone, so here's a project I'm really excited about. I think it brings together some of the best uses of AI, and in this case, we're going to dive into Alberta's rich history, and we're going to leverage AI, multimodal AI in this sense, to translate images into metadata to build an interactive gallery so you can dive deep into Alberta's history. I'm going to show you how to use images plus metadata in an Excel file to really merge together two different data sets into one. So we've got this new platform called TAP, or the Archive platform. Of course, we can name it whatever we want. This is another open source initiative. And we have a landing page here where we have no items. And we're going to come in, we're going to take some images from Alberta's history and we're going to bring it in through this AI engine. And we're going to map out, use AI to map out and analyze the contents of each image to build an interactive gallery so that people can search and then ultimately print or order these images themselves. But I love this as an example because it's a real world use of diving in and analyzing a ton of data. Alberta has over 2 million images in its data set, in its archives that we can bring forward, we can analyze through AI, and we can make these images absolutely searchable, and you can find the content you're looking for. Many people may have family members or may have interest in various places, people, things in Alberta in the past, and these images go back a long ways. And so the way it works is you can upload images, you can upload as many as you like, and we will process those with AI to analyze all the metadata. The other thing that you can do is you can also attach a metadata file, and so that could be an Excel file or a JSON file that has meaningful information about the picture that isn't apparent in the picture. That could be when it was taken, that could be the photographer, the archive that it's part of, or some detailed information about what's going on in the picture that you can't interpret just by looking at it. So that's information from the archives themselves, from the collection. So I'm going to start off here. We're just going to pick some images. And in this instance, Arts, Culture, and Status of Women Ministry provided these images in advance. So they provided a bunch of images here. We've got, I think, 29 images that we can use to start. And I'm just going to import the first two so we can see the little thumbnails of those images. And just to show you the difference about using just the images or the metadata, I'm just going to process these images really quickly. And we're going to see what AI is able to create from them. So before I started, I actually defined a schema, which is a structure of data that I thought would be great to catalog and capture all of the different types of information that might be in an image. And so I used Grok to come up with a really sophisticated, really comprehensive data structure to capture the image information. And I told Gemini, in this instance, we're using Gemini 2, I told Gemini to go in and help us parse that information. So let's go and look at what's been updated. So here we've got the images, and this is what's been parsed out. So here's the two images. We've got the image ID, which is just auto-generated. We have the date, which is literally right now. There's the URL, so that this is where it's stored in the database, so you can pull that up. You have the archive name. It's created a collection. We've got a color type, which is grayscale, aspect ratio 4:3. Dots per inch, and then we have some information down below. This is what the AI has been able to parse out. The subjects: concert hall, auditorium, musical instruments, primary objects, row of seats, stage, piano, music stands, and in here it has a description: interior view of a concert hall or auditorium. So it's generalizing because that's all it's able to parse out. Does it have any people? No, it doesn't have people, but it does actually is locating where in the image these things are occurring. So it's kind of interesting. It's isolating the actual objects out of the image so we could do something with. We could actually crop that out. We have the setting. We've got estimated year, start year, end year. So it could be between 1960 or 1980. It's about 70% sure that that's the case. Doesn't know the city. It's assuming Canada. And concert hall interior, architectural photography. So there's quite a bit of metadata there. So if we jump into our gallery, we can see these images here and we can see the description. We can click on the eyeball and that will give us this nice image details pop-up. There we've got a summary of the pieces. You've got the notable objects, seat, stage, piano, etc. We have a bit of information, the resolution, etc. So what's cool about this platform is the idea about owning a piece of history. You actually hit purchase copy. You can pick whether you want a digital copy, a standard cost copy, an AI upscaled, remastered, a canvas print, an archive print, even an aluminum sign. So these are all sort of options. Now, the numbers are just placeholders, but you get the idea that we would be able to have a range of different options where if you wanted to own a piece of this history, you could just add it to your cart, and right away it's in our shopping cart, so we can check in on that later. This information is not bad, but there's a lot of unknown data here. And I'm going to go back in, we're going to redo this, and I'm going to show you the difference about adding some metadata. So we'll start over. We'll actually go and delete those two images, right? Those weren't bad interpretations, but they could have been better. So we're going to delete those images. We'll go back. This time we're going to choose a metadata file. And here's an Excel file. I'll show you what's in it. This is the Excel file that was provided by the ministry, and it has some additional information. It has the collection, the creator number, it has a title, so this is important, has a date, it forms part of a collection, we can see the size of it, we can see it's a black and white negative. And one of the things I added to help us is I added this field called file name. And I just created a Excel function. It's kind of a long function, but it takes what's in column M and it maps it to the file name. So the reference number is PA-1/1. Well, the file name is PA1.1.jpg. And so I created a little Excel function that would automatically create the file name, and that allows the AI to actually match the file name that we've attached with the metadata. So if I go back here, we've attached a metadata file, and there's 52 entries in there. And now when I bring in the pictures, I'm going to just bring in those same two pictures again, 2.1 and 2.2. Now what happens is we can see down below, we now have the image, but it also flags it's found the metadata in the file. So it says with metadata, that means we have a match. And now when we process those images, let's wait for that to happen, it'll take a few seconds. It'll actually extract out the metadata in its interpretation, and then it will apply that metadata to the description. So we actually should have better dates, we should have better descriptions, and it should make the images easier to find and much more specific. So let's see how it's done. So it's processed those two images now. Here they are in the gallery. I'm just going to click on this. Now it's much more interesting. It's a black and white photo depicting the interior of the Edmonton Jubilee Auditorium. We now know what collection it was from. We know who the photographer was. We have a bit more information down below here. So it's now captured again the description pieces of it. It has the specific dates. It still has the same kind of content, but now we know the photographer. We don't know the camera type. We do know the file size, etc. And so we see August 1957. So let's go back here, and we'll see how that maps in here. Here, August 1957. So you see it's actually taken now the metadata from that image itself. And so that's the 2.1 and the 2.2 here. So we have those dates, and we have the description, and we know who the photographer was. So it's interpreted that automatically, and it's put it into our new schema here. So now when we look at that in the gallery, we actually can see that information, and when we click on the eyeball, now we've got a year, collection, photographer, etc. And we can actually search by, again, this will be a bad example because we only have two images, but I can search by Ross, and it's found that there's two images. So if I were searching by the photographer, I would actually find that now, which is amazing. So we have the visual content that the AI has processed. We also have the text content that's come from the metadata. And so you can bring in any Excel file you want as long as there is the file name in it. It's going to match that file name. So we can bring in a big collection, thousands of files, and it will be able to parse out that metadata. And that's really exciting. Let me come through and let's upload the rest of the content here. So we'll bring in that metadata file again. We'll do that. So we've got that. We'll bring in the rest of the images, and we're going to build out the rest of the gallery here, which is super exciting. So let's bring in those images. And down here we have 27 more images, and we're just going to hit process. And we'll process them all through. Now it's doing them one at a time. We can actually set up with Gemini to do, I think, 10 or 20 concurrently, easily. I think the current rate that I have it set is 1,000 requests per minute. So we could actually push all of these through in parallel with just a little bit of a reconfiguration. That would be much faster, and that's precisely what we would do for a large quantity of information. So now it's processed all of the images, which is great. We can see them in the gallery. There's just 29 images now. And we've got great descriptions because now we've got the metadata associated with this as well. So we have the McDonald Hotel, Dominion Bank building. We've got the Caravan Motor Hotel. We've got Chateau Lake Louise. And so there's tons of cool stuff here. And, there's some interior shots, 2 cameramen operating. Now, because we've attached it, we also have the collection number. So if you did want to search by collection, you could do that. We could search by year. So we see these ones are 1976, and we can also search for, let's say, put in hotel. So these are all the hotel images that we have. We can put in person. So these ones all have people in them. And so forth, right? So now we can search really rapidly through it, and the metadata is really rich. Let's have a look at it. We've got people, woman sitting by the pool, person standing near a ladder, person swimming in the pool, children splashing in the pool. So it has all of the different people and their attributes, the fence, the trees, the ladder. So if we put in, again, if we put in swimming, so we can actually have the pictures of people swimming. So the metadata makes these images really searchable. There's no human entry required. You just take it out of the archive system and you load it right in, and it's good to go. Alberta has over 2 million images like this from the archives, and so we would love to help use AI to make these images much more searchable, so you can discover a little bit of a piece of your past and take it home or order it, or come to the archives as well and look at look at some of the originals that we have. So I hope that's been interesting. This is a great use case for taking generative AI with a known data set, merging the two together, and creating this really rich archive that we're saving right into the database. We hope to expand this out into more content, such as vital statistics, so you can search for births, deaths, marriages, other articles or artifacts that are documented in the archive, but maybe not as easy to find as they could be, and help you tap into Alberta's history, leveraging some AI. So that's it for now. Thanks a lot. Let us know what you think, and we would love to see this grow and evolve and turn into a really powerful tool to help connect people with their culture, with their history, and to be able to take a little piece of it home as well.